Well, hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by. I've been getting a few requests to do a map build series, and I thought, you know what? Let's give her a shot. I have no idea how many episodes this is going to go for. Hopefully, I have some good information for you, but for me personally, creating a map and watching someone else enjoy that experience is the absolute most rewarding experience I've ever had in Minecraft, and I would love for anybody to have that feeling. So, even if you have never made a map before, um, you know what? Hopefully, I think this will really help you. So I thought for episode one here, let's start completely from scratch. I do highly recommend do not um, create your map in a pre-generated Minecraft world. When people play a custom map, they want to see something custom. They do not want to see their regular survival world. So starting from fresh, we are going to start a complete blank slate. You may have seen this before. People call it a void world. I call it an air world. Basically, it's a world with nothing in it. I'm going to call this creative control. It's a bit of a cliche title, but I thought it kind of works with our series. Change this to creative, and then hit the options. And we want to get rid of structures. We want to put it on super flat. Keep the cheats on. Keep the bonus chests off. Here we go. We need to remove these layers, go into presets, and here we've got a 3 semicolon, and now we want to put a buffer. So I'm just pick 50 asterisk and Minecraft air. So Minecraft colon air. What that's going to do is make 50 blocks of air layered from the bottom up. And then I'm going to change this to 2. You don't have to do this, but I do recommend. This is desert biome. 2 is desert biome, and that just means I'm not going to have to deal with the rain. But you can deal with it if you want to use command blocks. It's up to you. So preset, there we go. We've got 50 layers. We're going to spawn the top layer and above 50 here and hit create new world. And we double tap and we can jump and fly. Just put a buffer in there because when we start falling, we don't go into the void. And you can see we're in a kind of a, I guess it's not a random location, but weird location here. And the sun's moving, so we're also in a desert biome. So the first thing I do in all of my pre-generate or in all of my map creation is I do this game rule / game rule do daylight cycle false, and what happens there is the sun completely stops, and that's gonna basically let us have daytime all the time we're building, and that sun will never change unless you command blocks towards it. Next thing I do is I just set the time to 6,000, just so that we have the sun straight over our head. Beautiful, beautiful, and we are in a complete blank world. So what we can do is we can set block, and I'll get into these squiggly marks later, but I'm just going to put a block of quartz here so we can talk a little bit about the spawn chunks. Okay, so this may be how some people start a map. So one of the things I like to do, because the numbers here are a little weird here, I actually like to move my spawn point to a more easy to remember world. So basically I'm going to just break this block. I'm going to teleport myself all the way out to probably, I think, usually I do 0, 64, 0. And there we go, I'm on there. And I'm just going to set block something right here. It's gonna, I think it's gonna go to 60. Let's go 63. Quartz block, always the quartz block, right? Okay, so now when I'm standing, I'm on 64. The reason I picked 64 is in Minecraft, it's sort of the sea level block, I think, or it's like the height that planes is usually on. It's kind of like a natural height for a regular world. So we are at 0, 64, 0. I picked the 0, so when you're doing command blocks, it's kind of easy to remember. So the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about spawn chunks, okay? Spawn chunks is basically where your world begins. When you start a fresh Minecraft world, you just sort of pop down somewhere in the middle of nowhere. That's your spawn chunk. And a few things that you should know about the spawn chunk is they don't despawn. So because they don't despawn, redstone clocks can run basically forever in that area, and you can be hundreds of blocks away and your clocks or whatever you have running in there is gonna be fine. It's gonna be running there. So a spawn chunk is really important to have that set up. The other thing is, if your command spawn or your bed gets obstructed somehow, gets destroyed or whatever, your player is gonna go back to the spawn chunks. So what we want to do is we want to set our spawn chunks so that if the player dies, their spawn gets obstructed, they go to this location here. Now there is one other thing about 0640 is in the wiki, I'll put a link in the description. Spawn chunks are a 16 by 16 sort of grid, but there is something that a rarity is if you have your world spawn completely set in the middle of that chunk, you get a few extra chunks. So what we want to do is we want to actually move our spawn chunk to 8. So I'm just going to teleport at P8 64 8. And where's our, there we go. So let me set the block right there. I could have just set it there, but there, set it at 63 863. So that is the center of the world spawn that I would recommend. You put it in 8, you get a few more spawn chunks, and it's easy to remember the 8 there, but basically it just needs to be in the center of whatever, of that exact center of that spawn chunk, and then you can get some more chunks around for your redstone not to run out. Okay, so basically the other thing I should do is actually change this to a different block. So we're going to make the whole layer. We're going to make the whole layer quartz. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about your world spawn. So the world spawn, as I said before, is where your players are going to go. Especially on a server, they're going to go to that area. Or if your bed gets obstructed, they're going to go to that area. If somehow you lose your command spawn, then it's going to go there. So we need to set it. There's a command that you could just do set world spawn, and there you go. So now our world spawn is 864 8. We're in the middle of the spawn chunk there, so we've got a few more chunks to work with. And yeah, that's basically the start of it. Okay, so the next thing you should know is that on a server, or where the spawn is, the world spawn is, players can actually spawn or start the map in a 20 by 20, any random place on a 20 by 20 area, and they will also always go to the highest point. So if you've ever played a map where you've started like in a ship or in a house or in a cave, on a server that is not going to work, because they're going to spawn somewhere around that area if it's not big enough, or if it's got a ceiling, they're going to spawn on the top. So we need to keep that in mind when we make our map. What we want to do here, if you got OCD like me, slight OCD, we want to make it 21 by 21, just because the 20 by 20 we want to center. So we're going to do that. We're going to make a fill command. I'm going to go, let's see, -10, -1, -10, and then we go 10, -1, and 10. And we are going to pick the quartz block, 0, replace, air. Okay, so what I've done here is we're going to fill. This squiggle line means relative from where the command is being set. So the command is being set at us right now. So 10 blocks behind, and 10 blocks behind, to 10 blocks in front, and 10 blocks in front, I guess, so to speak, of, we're going to fill it with quartz block. 0 is regular quartz block, and we're going to replace everything that's air. So you see here, I hit that, and there we go. Took a little bit, but there we go. We have our world spawn. So now if I die, let's see, I don't have a spawn set. I'll probably start in a random location here. I'm way over here. If I kill myself again, I'm going to start in a different location. So just so you can see that, I'm going to put let's see, let's put some redstone dust down. and I'll just kill myself. Oh, yeah, I don't have that. And see, I'm in a totally different area. So we can, if we have no spawn set through commands, it's going to set us randomly in this 20 by 20, but I picked 21 by 21 just for looks if you wanted to do it that way. And the center's there. If you played my maps, there's usually a block in the center just from the first block I ever laid. Okay, now just to reiterate, we cannot have a roof on this. We have a roof on this, they're going to spawn on top of that roof. So let's start making our sort of area where the players are going to kind of start, and we'll head over there. Okay, here we are inside a little house, a little shack. We have a bed and we have a chest with a mystery book. I love a good mystery. You awake, not knowing who you are. Yeah, cliche adventure. Don't ever make that your storyline. But I wanted to take a minute and just talk about context. And these are the signs you want to definitely avoid. As much as you can, do not put out of context signs. You should begin your adventure inside the house. What is the point of that? You know, older maps, a lot of them I saw, they would say something like, if you're in the middle of nowhere, if you don't spawn in the right place, teleport to this location. You're taking away from the adventure by having a sign like that, or saying something like that in the map download. So just start the player inside this section. Now, the world spawn, they will spawn on top of the roof, so we have to do extra precautions to avoid that. But we can set them inside where we want to set them. So I want to show you how we do that. I've got a system that's based off of Jesper the End's XP spawner, and we'll get into that next. Okay, I've got all the commands set up here. This is the world spawn pad, and there's where we want them to start in the map. Now remember, on the world spawn, they're going to spawn on the top layer. So we do not want them to spawn on top of that roof or on top of that shipwreck or outside that cave, whatnot. We want them to spawn where we want them to start the map. So we can do that. We just need to send an extra precaution in here. This is based off of Jesper the End's XP orb clock thing. I'll get into that later, but just to show you what it does here, I've got it set up with survival mode. So this is the world spawn. As soon as I go into survival mode, there we go. We are we are in the map here, and where we want to start. If I kill myself, we've reset our command spawns to inside this. Now keep in mind, we always face south when we die, so this probably should have been built out that way. Just, you know, little details when you're building a map, I think that's really important, and you should probably build your map going out towards the south. I've learned that the hard way. But yeah, I'll show you. And also, here we go. If I actually set my spawn below at P, below me, so in the grass block, it's going to be obstructed, just like breaking a bed. I'm going to get my spawn reset. So if I kill myself now, I'm going to, yeah, get basically back to the world spawn, but set back here again. And then if I die, my spawn's set. So we're good to go there. So I'm going to show you how that works. Again, on a server, they definitely start in the world spawn. So if you want them to start inside an area, that's really important. Seamless here. Basically, we have an XP orb spawner that is spawning down here, enough blocks away so we can't hear it. Again, little details. I don't want the players to actually know that's what's really happening. And sometimes it's actually, you can't even see it. But it's really, really fast because it's a set block clock. So I'll show you that. This is all going to be in the description. I'm launching an XP orb. So over here we've got entity ID XP orb. It's got a very short lifespan. Like basically, one more of these, it's 6,000, is when they despawn. So basically, as soon as it spawns, it despawns, but it's enough to hold down a pressure plate to these positions. So 0.5 goes right in the center of that block, and 0 is right on that pressure plate. And we want to use XP ores because they're not going to send errors to the console. The console is a little window that pops up when you start a server. And then I've got to set up to a player range of 16 because when I'm right on the edge of this pad, it's going to send me to that area. It's still going to be activated. And then the nice thing is, down here I have a torch that, did it go? There we go. So the XP is actually on there. You can't see it, but you can hear it. Basically, when I get out of range, you'll see the torch there. It goes on and fires off this other command here. So what's happening is this XP orb is getting launched when I'm in range down to this command block out of audio range. And it's setting a redstone block up to begin this set block clock. So you can see this is set block clock. And then when we get it out of range, the torch comes on and fires the redstone block above it, which sets this as clay, but it actually stops this clock. So we don't have a clock running all the time. You definitely want to keep in mind lag. Now, these set block clocks are pretty much lagless. On a server, they can get some lag, so if there's any way you can just completely stop any clock when you're not near it, it's the best way to do it. I use this Jesperian XP orb clock thing a lot. I find it really, really helpful, and see, it doesn't run when you're not near it. So anyway, I've got a bunch of commands set up here, and I've got this little demonstration, little thing you can do for yourself is I have these say commands, and they're in order. So if I had like one over here and two over there, you'd see when I put a redstone block, it gives the order of what command block gets pushed off first. So down here, this clock is going to pull the one here facing west off first. It's going to set my spawn or any player spawn within a radius of 10 from that block. It's going to set it basically right here at the center. It's going to set it there. It's going to set the spawn to where we want them to start. I don't know why I have the 0. That might not work. Spawn point shouldn't have a 0. But then it's going to change the game mode to A from anybody who is basically in survival. But you could get rid of that and just have anybody sets it to game mode A or whatever mode you want them in. And then I don't have one here, but over here it sets it to teleport them to where we want them to teleport. So it's going spawn point, game mode, teleport. I always like to keep changing the game mode to the game mode I want to do because so many people like to cheat, and avoiding that if you have a good built map is, in my opinion, a good idea. But that's pretty easy. Like I don't know if it's easy, but it's pretty standard, I think. And then you can decorate this however you want. Put some walls up there, make it look nice in case they do see it. But that really is kind of I think the best way to do it. If I go to survival mode automatically, real quick, I'm here ready to go, starting that map, and we don't have this sign saying, you should begin your adventure inside the house, because we've already put them inside the house. So yeah, I think that basically covers what I wanted to talk about in episode 1. If you have any comments about the episode or future episodes, what we want to talk about, I think the next episode I want to talk about is some more seamless stuff and game rules and things like that. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you got some information about it. Enjoy your Minecrafting, guys. See you next time. Have a great day.